the G-Shock H2000 sports watch, and I'm going to see if the protective lugs can shock absorb a throw from a top floor apartment. Let's see. Ready? Whoa, let's stop you right there and let's take you back. This is the latest G-Shock watch, the first with built-in HR monitoring and GPS capabilities, the GBD-H2000. We at Running Shoes Guru put the watch through its paces and compared it to the gold standard competitors. We're going to talk through the design, battery life, sports tracking capabilities, how it performs both on and off the run. I'll run you through the app and then finish off which type of runner would best suit the H2000. And then see if the protective lugs can absorb the drop from a top floor building. Stay tuned. Quick mention that G-Shock did not gift us the watch. All tech that we review is purchased ourselves and tested by real runners. Here we go. Take a look at those lugs for protection. We'll test this in a minute. Those lugs do make the watch 18.5 millimeters thick on the wrist, which probably better fitting a male wrist to a slender female's. But there's these wedge-like design pieces on the straps which help keep the watch sitting better on your wrist. It makes things like heart rate reading more accurate with a more snug fit. I really like that addition to the design. Both bezel and straps are made from eco-friendly bioresin, which helps keep the watch light at 63 grams in total. The screen is the classic Casio look. It's very functional and the information you can modify. It's a busy screen, but it's also quite basic, if that makes sense. The buttons, they have a spongy feel to press. You have to press hard and it's a little slow to react. Think of texting on the old Nokia 3210s, like it's quite slow and laborious. Straight out the box, it had 50% battery. I thought I'd see how long it lasted, and that was 7 days full use with a workout every day and continuous heart rate monitoring. But what probably helps that is it's solar powered, so charging on the run and with artificial light is an absolute win-win. Perfect for ultra runners, anyone doing long distance training, adventurers who don't have to think about charging all the time, people like camping or walking long distances. There is a monster USB cable though, and 2 hours does give you 100% battery life, which is what's advertised, so very accurate. What's great for the adventurer is the barometer, the compass, the altimeter and everything. So that will help with your post-run stats, which is neatly presented on the watch, but you can't access these whilst in training mode. So great for an adventurer. It's not currently tracking what they're doing. They just want to use the watch to go on the adventure, so to speak. Whilst we're on tracking, there are only 8 sport profiles that this watch can track. There's running, trail running, walking, pool swimming, open water swimming, cycling, gym workout and an interval timer. That's it. That's all it can track. Tracking off the watch, there is GPS built in, but it can't offer you navigation whatsoever. It's just for tracking purposes on the app. And I wanted to check if it was accurate compared to Polar. We're going to dive into this a bit more on and off the run. So on the run, it struggled to read my heart rate reading through a tattoo, so I had to wear it on the underside of the wrist. It's quite a common thing now. It's very bulky, especially in winter months when you've got lots of layers and you've got gloves and extra coats and everything. It's risky pushing a button because there's no way to lock the screen on activity. You can train to heart rate zone and alerts, but honestly, I didn't notice them. It beeped at me like every sort of 5 minutes probably, when you're not in the ideal zone, but I hardly noticed it, so I just kept checking the screen. So that really didn't help me sort of stay in the heart rate zone compared to its competitors that will consistently bleep at you and tell you to calm down. Another thing that's a bugbear of mine is everything is measured in kilometers only. You cannot change this to miles. Tough luck, you just have to deal with it in kilometers. Not a fan of that. I had to spend a lot of time converting it into miles because that's what I understand, that's what I work with. There is a Polar collaboration with the G-Shock with heart rate data, cardio load, breathing and night recharge. They're all supported by Polar, but it's like the Fisher-Price edition. Very, very basic. But I did want to test the accuracy versus Polar product itself, the H10 Polar chest strap. Not massively different, as you can see on heart rate data. We know there's a little less accuracy on a wrist wearable compared to a chest strap, but I was impressed with the heart rate closeness really. And to be honest, I was quite impressed because in this run, both watch and chest strap showed I was hitting the heart rate zones 4 and 5, so the differences in the actual beats per minute didn't affect my training perceived effort per se. There were discrepancies on other stuff like distance, calories burnt and time, but the auto pause system is fantastically accurate on the H2000, which the Polar strap obviously doesn't have. Do note that on the run there is absolutely zero music support, so you had to take your phone, one of those. The watch generally post-run, like it gives you all the facts and the stats of your run, but it cannot, for the life of you, tell you how to get anywhere. Not great for trail runners, not great for running in a new city, not great for anyone that gets lost. Me, I get lost. Off the run, there is absolutely no way to import or export your running data, your maps or anything, so it's seriously limited. There's zero workout suggestions or ability to take you through a structured session, so it's a really limited watch, which essentially, this is rather just an expensive, glorified fitness tracker. You can get more health metrics, more tracking and better tracking and workout suggestions from the likes of Fitbit. It's a really limited watch. Also, there is zero recovery assistance after said workout. It's just the cardio load. Even that is very, very basic. The sleep data, there's a nightly recharge and sleep breakdown into stages. It's very inaccurate compared to the gold standard, and I've gone for a Whoop 4.0. For example, the total time of sleep, according to the G-Shock, is 9 hours 1 minute, whereas the Whoop measured 7 hours 45 minutes. Interesting. Interruptions were quite similar, just 5 minutes off, but REM sleep, G-Shock said it was 2 hours, whereas the Whoop said it was 2 hours 53, nearly 3 hours. Light sleep on the G-Shock was 5 hours 25. Light sleep on the Whoop said 3 hours 3, and deep sleep was 1 hour 10, whereas actually deep sleep was 1 hour 49, which is massive when you're thinking about recovery and the implications post-run. Yes, heart rate variability is available, and that's fantastic. I do love that. But again, it's off. I mean, the nightly recharge info altogether is off. This Whoop woke me up early because I had 100% sleep and achieved it before my actual wake up time, and I woke up feeling great. But the G-Shock is saying that I had a bad sleep. I needed to have a recovery day, and I didn't really believe it, to be honest. I'm not sure why it's so inaccurate, but I'm more likely to go on the Whoop because it's scientifically proven to be the gold standard. There's another night here where Whoop said I had 100% sleep and it was perfect. Recovery was 96%, and I was to have a heavy strain day. I was ready to perform. However, the G-Shock gave me a score of 88. I don't know what that means, and said it was compromised and I needed a light training rest day. My heart rate variability on the G-Shock was 71, whereas on the Whoop it's saying it's 85. Again, huge discrepancy if you're really diving into this type of data and you're into it. All this information is found on the app rather than the watch. On the watch screen itself, there's very limited information, and it is all more accessible on the app, which you kind of need to dive into all the time. That's probably nothing new. It is a new app for this model, but as you open it, it's just a marketing landing page, and that is a huge no-no. It makes the user feel like their data doesn't matter, and it's much more about their random Instagram post that I can't even click on. The data presents itself in this sort of listicle way. If you don't know what these numbers and this data means, it can be quite meaningless, to be honest, and overwhelming rather than helpful and educational. It's a shame because there's a really great amount of data there. I think the watch is for people who are loyal to the G-Shock brand and like its unique, garish design, which I am warming to. Running wise, I think it suits the casual runner who wants to start tracking their activity data, a runner who isn't focused on a training plan or needs a heavy amount of assistance to start making healthy choices. I'd be inclined to say it's someone who likes an adventure, but just remember you can't access the compass, the barometer, etc. whilst in training mode, so I don't know if that's going to help you a great deal. I think this watch is really limiting, and you'd get more joy out of a sort of a cheaper fitness tracker that can connect to third-party apps or offer you a bit more of a workout suggestions and help you digest the data a little bit better, because for $399, this is not keeping up with its competitors. The likes of Polar, who use their data better, the likes of Garmin, the likes of even Coros. I mean, they don't care about your recovery, but this watch doesn't seem to care about your recovery either, but it doesn't also help you with your training. So really someone that's not really taking their fitness goals quite so seriously. They just want to track and see what they're doing, but it's more about the look of the watch and the brand of the watch than it is what the watch can offer you. But without further ado, let's see if it can stand the shock of a top floor drop. Let's go. Ready? Turns out the G-Shock H2000, the toughest watch of all time, isn't actually that tough. Stay tuned for top running shoe and tech reviews by subscribing to the Running Shoes Guru channel. Bye!